We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
We've also been getting strange reports of something moving.
It's alive! A gigantic beast!
I mean, it must be 300 feet tall.
Oh god, it's gargantuan! Yes!
Welcome, beautiful creatures of the internet. I'm Chris.
Cole here.
And welcome to episode 4 of Gargantucast.
4 episodes. What a milestone.
Really much. The fact that I lasted for a month, basically. No, seriously, this is a month so far.
A month of this trundling monster wandering its way through the internet.
And I have to thank you guys so much. So, before we get to Kai news, things are going to be a little heavy, but I want to dedicate this episode to 2 kaiju fans, one of which is unfortunately passed as of the week of recording. His name is George Rook III. During the week, he had a terminal illness of some kind, I don't know what, and his dying wish was to see Godzilla King of the Monsters. And Legendary was almost about to do it. Legendary's Warner Brothers, but unfortunately he passed, so... but it brought me so much happiness to see the kaiju community,
just really gather together for just someone who just their wish was to just see this movie.
Yeah.
Like they've waited so many years to see like a great big monster bash and to see it cut short so tragically.
Yeah, and we have another fan who is not in a great condition. His name is Josh Salazar. And his cousin pointed out that he has severe spinal problems, and I don't know what condition he actually has, but it's very clear that he may not have a lot of time. But hopefully Legendary and Warner Brothers can help with him as well. And if you guys want to donate to his medical expenses, his mom has a GoFundMe page. So if you check on social media, or if you're listening on YouTube, I'll have a link below in the description. So if you want to donate.
I remember seeing you retweeted that on Gargantucast.
Yeah, definitely. And so this episode's dedicated to them. Kaiju fans stick together. So no matter what, we're a community. So we gotta give each other some love, and we gotta have each other's back.
Yeah, stay strong together, guys.
All right. So Kai news. We don't have a whole lot to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is the newly revealed SH Monster Art Gamera,
which is absolutely fantastic. It's extremely detailed.
Yeah, this is 1995 Gamera, so this is from Gamera Guardian of the Universe, which we reviewed in the last episode.
Which you can check out on YouTube, and where you get your fine podcasts.
Exactly. So here's one image. It shows just him standing in like a action pose.
He's ready to fuck up some Gauss.
Yeah, here's one in his in his shell with some effects parts to make him look like he's spinning and flying in the air.
Yeah.
Here's one where he has the jet turbines in the back and a fiery base to show him flying.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of great ways to pose this guy on the shelves.
Yeah. And here's another one where he's lunging forward, growling, all that cool stuff. This is my favorite Gamera design because it's not as dopey as Showa Gamera, but it's not as mean as 1999. I know a lot of people really like 99 Gamera.
Like, I'll give... to the supreme fans of 99 Gamera, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
We're gonna cover all the Gameras at some point, even the dopey Showa era.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But I feel like to the fans of 99, I will definitely give you, he is probably the most badass looking Gamera in terms of just looking like he will fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
You, this guy's coming, you're done. You're done, son.
Yeah.
But, I know that, Heisei Gamera doesn't have the title of, Friend of All Children.
Friend of All Children, yeah. That's what he's called in the Showa era.
In the Showa era, he was called Friend of All Children, but, still, he's supposed to be the good guy. But, 99 Gamera, he looks fucking mean.
And the film is more ambiguous on how Gamera was when we will talk about it eventually. But saying it, I prefer 95 because he's mean enough to look badass, but he looks approachable.
He's intimidating, but he comes across as, like a big scary dude that you would meet. He's buff as fuck. He's got tattoos.
But he hates bullies.
Yeah, if he sees school bullies, he'll scare them off, or he seems like he's a big scary dude, but he's got a good heart.
Yeah. Next, we're going to cover on Kai News is the Total Film article. Some new images from Total Film. They covered Godzilla. So let me show you some of the covers. We got this really badass one of Godzilla coming from the water.
I really like the logo design.
Oh, yeah, like how it's falling apart and scratched and stuff.
Yeah, it looks nuts.
Here's another cover art of Godzilla.
I've been seeing this one on Twitter a lot. It's like a low angle shot of like Godzilla like from his tail as there's like rockets like flying around him. I've been seeing this one a lot on Twitter.
Yeah, it's my I have a textless version that's my current phone background. It's really awesome. So this article covered a few things. We got new images of a few things. We got opera singing Ghidorah. Yeah. Well, what we're looking at here...
I mean, there's 3 heads, so it's less of an opera and more of a barbershop quartet.
Yeah. It's Ghidorah, like, you know, roaring...
I'm sorry, I'm just... I'm just picturing Ghidorah just by himself with his 3 heads doing like an acapella.
Yeah. Oh.
And like that, like he, like there's got like the squeaky like high head.
That's the middle head.
The middle head's like really high.
Yeah.
And then there's one that's like kind of bassy, and then there's like the really, really, really deep one.
Yeah. We got the image here is Ghidorah roaring with his wing out. It's a pretty cool image. Another image we got is Godzilla fighting Ghidorah, and probably this is the finale of the film.
Yeah, like it's like in a rainy city, and there's like smoke everywhere.
Yeah, it's like it's probably from that shot of the trailer when they're lunging and stuff.
Yeah, it's just like from a different shot.
Another image is Millie Bobby Brown's character along with her mother, and I'm guessing these are the eco-terrorists who are trying to awaken all the monsters.
All the
Titans.
Titans, yeah.
Yeah. And we have a behind-the-scenes shot of Ken Watanabe, who plays Serizawa in this film. He looks like he's in some kind of like pod of some kind, and he's probably going to enter the Godzilla temple.
Probably.
One thing I want to point out about the article, one major thing involving Godzilla vs. Kong of all things. Mm-hmm. So Michael Dougherty, who's directing King of the Monsters, he said that he looked over the script for Godzilla vs. Kong and basically edited it to like make it match with what he wanted to see in King of the Monsters.
Okay.
But he says overall the script is pretty solid, so fingers crossed for Godzilla vs. Kong.
Godzilla vs. Kong and King of the Monsters, they're kind of meshing well.
I mean, they're probably
as of right now.
Yeah. It's just the only thing a lot of people were nervous that the director is Adam Wingard, who has a hit or miss kind of directors. Mm. So hopefully it's good. I'm really hoping it's good. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So that'll be it for Kai news. Not an eventful week, but
so we're gonna roll into the most questionable part of my day.
Is this a kaiju?
Is it?
Well, this week's Is This Kaiju is Monstro the Whale from Pinocchio. Now, some people will be thinking like, oh, it's a whale. It can't be. Look how he's portrayed in the Disney film and the fairy tale.
I mean, like... Monster the Whale. I mean, Kong is a kaiju. Like, that's not debatable. Kong is a kaiju.
And he's a giant gorilla.
And he's a massive gorilla. Like, what? Like, ranging from, like, 25 to, like, 40, 25 to 50 feet tall?
Or, like, 100 in, like, Skull Island and stuff like that. But the point is, like, he's a big gorilla.
He's a big gorilla. And Monstro is a huge whale.
But the thing is, Monstro is very aggressive, even by whale standards.
He's extremely aggressive and anatomically incorrect.
Like, you can live in his stomach.
Well, no, not only live in his stomach, his teeth. That's not what whale teeth look like.
I mean, some whales have sharp teeth.
They do?
Yeah.
Like orca.
No, like, I think,
like, Monstro looks like a
sperm whale.
Sperm whales have teeth like that?
They eat giant squids.
They do?
Yes.
Are blue whales the only ones that have the weird, like, bristles?
Some blue whales have bristles, and I believe humpbacks have bristles.
Okay.
But sperm whales have teeth.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, what whale is Monstro supposed to be like? Is he like a sperm whale?
Probably only because he has the teeth, and during the era, sperm whales were hunting for their,
for their blubber.
Yeah. So he could be, but the thing is, again, he's so large that you can live in his stomach.
Do we know, like, a size estimate? Like, did you look into that?
I haven't, but I think it's one of those things where it's just size inconsistency because the way the animators of specifically the Disney film made it seem like it's like, there's one shot where it looks like he's like, oh no, like the size of the average whale. But then we look at his stomach and it looks like, a cavern, like really large. So it's probably inconsistencies.
Yeah.
And in the fairy tale, it seems like they describe him just like less of a whale, more like just like
a sentient island.
Pretty much.
Okay, given because of the size, his absolute like monstrous aggression, like it seems like he just eats anything that comes near him.
I mean, he's called Monstro for a reason.
Yeah, he was like a destroyer. He was a beast of the sea. For that reason, I think for the same reasons because Kong is a kaiju, I think I can give it to... I'll give Monstro a tentative yes.
Tentative.
When you make your post on Twitter asking the audience what they think, I'm definitely going to be checking out the results on that one because I'm going to give it a tentative yes.
All right, so we're yes on Monstro the Whale. So we're going to take a little break.
I actually want to know your thought. What do you think?
I think
before the break, I want to know your thought.
Okay, so my thought process is the way Monstro is described is it's one, completely inaccurate to how whales are.
Yeah.
And two, fairy tales are one of those things where they exaggerate and yet it's also face value.
Yeah, because like there's things like the big bad wolf and stuff like that where he's like blowing hurricanes and
so shit. So the way they describe Monstro... Mm-hmm. He's a monster whale. He's Gojira.
So you're also giving me a kind of a yes.
Kind of a yes.
Yeah. So it's questionable, but like I think we could back up. Like if Kong counts, I think Monstro can count.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna take a little break, and we'll be right back for our review of The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Hey guys, quick commercial break, and I just want to tell you guys about the official Gargantucast Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can show your support and get reward along the way, such as a monthly raffle for kaiju goodies, artwork by the official Gargantucast artist KaijuZilla98, votes for the next episode topic, and even merch. Yes, we even have merch, like any good podcast should. And any show support is much appreciated, because Gargantucast is independent, which means I gotta pay for everything. From my equipment, to programs, to research materials such as movies, figures, and books, because we all know the kaiju life is very expensive. So, once this episode is over, please check out the official Gargantucast Patreon page in the link down below if you're on YouTube, or you can look it up on Patreon if you're listening to wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we're back, everyone.
We traveled back to 1953.
Yep.
And
you got the year this time.
Okay. We haven't caught me many times on the podcast doing this, but trust me, this will become a gag because in my friends group, all 5 people that know me, I am like very notably bad at remembering dates.
Example I can think of.
Oh my god, no.
Okay, just quick. I remember you're like questioning when the original Godzilla vs. Kong came out. He's like, oh, when it came out in 1983, and I was like, it came out in 1963.
Oh, I was off by 20 goddamn years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am famously just absolutely god-awful with remembering dates.
Yeah. But you got it this time.
Yeah, 1953.
1953.
Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
So a little behind the scene history. So this is Ray Harryhausen's first solo project in terms of special effects directing. Because beforehand, his first gig was a assistant for Willis O'Brien for Maijo Young, and he was a special effects assistant for O'Brien for many years. Like, O'Brien was basically his teacher.
Yeah.
And he decided to make a adaptation of Ray Bradbury's story called The Foghorn, which...
I thought it was The Lighthouse.
I looked it up. It's called The Foghorn.
It's called The Okay.
It's called The Foghorn.
You said Lighthouse when we were watching the film earlier this week.
Which, I got confused because the short story takes place in a lighthouse.
In a lighthouse, okay. So Foghorn.
The Foghorn, and it's about basically...
boy, I say!
It's basically, the short story is sea monster attacks a lighthouse.
Yeah.
And Ray Harryhausen, which, we're going to say this right now, no one in stop motion, aside from Willis O'Brien, can top Ray motherfucking Hausen. One thing we're going to talk about a lot in Gargantucast is not only, the works of Toho and Daiei for kaiju films,
but when it comes to the American boys of monster movies, Ray motherfucking Harryhausen.
Yeah. So Ray wanted to adapt Bradbury's short story, which he managed to do, and basically Ray Bradbury's name was attached all over the place because he was a really well-known writer at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And this film had a budget of $2,000. It was...
Oh, okay. We'll get into it when we actually get into the film, but holy damn. For a budget of only $2,000, this film looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
If there is anything where I could just blow my load about this movie, the effects, not only on a budget of only $2,000, and in 1953, this film looks masterful.
Yeah.
Ray shows his talent. He doesn't even need a fucking resume. He could just walk in to a fucking studio with an idea for a movie, sit him down, show him this, and they're just like, gold, you got it. Boom, here's $1 million.
Yeah, and this film was basically self-funded by Ray Harryhausen and his effects crew.
Before we get into it, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because another film I know Ray Harryhausen worked on the effects was Jason and the Argonauts. When did that come out?
I believe late 50s, early 60s. I don't know for sure.
I heard like a rumor. I don't know how true this was, but as long as we're talking about Ray Harryhausen, I don't know when I'm going to have the chance to talk about him again.
We have several opportunities.
I know we're going to talk about him a lot, but like we're probably going to space it. We're not going to do like all of his movies in the span of like a month.
Yo, definitely not.
We got to spread it out.
Yeah.
We want to cover a lot of topics. Mm-hmm. We're fucking got to cover Power Rangers at some point.
I mean, next episode.
Woohoo! But no, the thing with I heard rumor that Ray Harryhausen did the skeleton fight animation almost entirely by himself, and it took like almost 3 straight months of near nonstop work.
I believe that because Ray Harryhausen basically perfected the skeleton scene, because a lot of people say that's like his greatest achievement in special effects.
It also looks fantastic. Like, wow, like seriously, if there's like anything, you can never like fucking something about Ray Harryhausen. He didn't half-ass anything.
Yeah.
Real quick about the movie, like a lot of things in like stop motion, you'll notice little things that they didn't bother to do. Like this guy is a stop motion character and he's not breathing. Like he's just kind of moving. You don't see him, inhale, exhale. Yeah. Like little tiny things. But no, like the Beast. In the stop motion scenes, he still blinks. His tongue moves around. Yeah, it feels alive.
It does.
Oh my god, it looks beautiful for a film this old.
Yeah. So, and his film was a decent hit. Like it was a pretty good hit. It made $1 million in the box office,
which like
for $2,000.
For a budget of $2,000, making back $1 million, also accounting for inflation
for the 50s.
How much? Someone in the comments, please, when this episode goes up, someone in the comments, please do the math of adjustment. Like, what was the buying power of $1 million in 1953? Like, what is $1 million in 1953 time compared to 2019 now?
Yeah.
I bet it's got to be astronomically large amounts of money.
So I'm going to summarize the plot a little bit because it's a very simple story. Yeah. Basically, a bunch of scientists were testing nukes in the Antarctic. They awoken a giant dinosaur, like basically like nuke. Like the film didn't even bullshit. Like
a dinosaur iguana.
Like the Radosaurus, which is like a made-up dinosaur that Ray Harryhausen made. He's just like, it's like, I made a cool monster. I'm gonna make it a dinosaur.
Here, have a gigantic death chameleon.
Yeah, more of iguana.
He's more iguana. Yeah, you're right.
So, and I will say the film didn't waste time revealing Radosaurus.
Yeah, I honestly say if there's any fault in the film that I kind of didn't like, I think they kind of blew their load too early.
Yeah, like that's one of my biggest issues. It's just
like I feel like genuinely, like if we just saw the scientists or like the dudes in the Antarctic freaking out about a monster, but we never saw it. Like maybe we saw its tail, or maybe we saw like
a footprint.
Like I feel like they could have built up some mystery to the monster, so when it does start going on its rampage, it's like holy shit, what the hell? But, like, you see it in, like, full detail very early on in the film. And I feel like that's kind of a detriment, because by the time when it shows up, you already know what it looks like.
Not only that it makes one plot point kind of pointless, where people are questioning the main character, scientist hero. I completely forgot his name, but this is a trope in the 50s, where you got, like, handsome, heroic scientists, which I rather see come back.
Also.
Yes.
The fact that he is a scientist. He's a scientist, ladies and gentlemen.
What field? I don't know.
Archaeology, geology,
nuclear
biology.
He's a scientist.
Yeah, it genuinely, like, legit. I was making Ghostbusters jokes the whole time, where like I felt like he would just use the word scientist, like most people would use, most people would flash a badge. Yeah, he's just like, trust me, I'm a scientist.
And like throughout most of the film, like apparently his friend was killed by the monster. The guy just fell like He only fell like 3 feet, but
it looks like he fell the distance of like the height of an average person's desk. He fell on his back and he might have hit it
on snow.
Like it could have been ice or like tight. I don't know. It looked like he didn't fall all that badly.
Yeah.
Like I've busted my ass. I've fallen down flights of stairs and I wasn't as bad as this guy seemed to be.
Yeah. So the scientist's buddy died and he saw the Radosaur. So he goes back to New York, which is like New York is basically America's Tokyo.
Yeah, like, when it comes to, like, the big city that, like, tends to get fucked up.
Especially with giant monster movies.
Yeah, it's like, it's New York. It's either, when it comes to American monster films.
Yes.
Like, tell me I'm wrong when I say this. When it comes to American monster movies, it's either New York or, New York, Washington, D.C., or some podunk town in the middle of nowhere.
L.A.,
okay, I'll give you that. LA is also eligible.
Good,
So New York, LA, or Washington D.C., or just some random fuck off place in like Illinois.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
no,
you're totally right. You're totally right.
But like in Japan, it's like Tokyo. It's either like Tokyo, Osaka. Like those are like the two main places that get hit.
I mean, to be fair, Osaka and Tokyo, like Tokyo is Washington D.C. for Japan.
It's like the biggest.
It's the capital.
Yeah, it's the biggest city.
And Osaka is like basically Chicago or New York.
Yeah.
Hell, a lot of people, off topic, but a lot of people compare Osaka accents to New York accents.
Huh.
Yeah, like a lot of Japanese dialect, they say it's like the best comparison.
That's interesting.
But going back to Beast.
Going back to the movie.
One thing, so they go back to civilization and they basically like, oh, it was the snow, you didn't see the monster, and they basically go on a wild goose chase.
Like find other people who have claimed to see a monster.
Because sprinkled throughout the film, like we see the Radosaur attack like a boat every now and then, or we get the famous lighthouse scene, which is like,
where it attacks the lighthouse.
You know, because you got to put that scene from the book to make it an actual adaptation,
or else it's just like, hey, we
name only
in name only.
So and that's my biggest
did a thing,
and that's my biggest problem with the film is. It blew its load so soon that the middle...
We've been saying that a lot in this episode.
I mean, what else can you describe when a monster movie? Like, we've seen the monster so soon.
Like, I'm gonna make a really weird comparison here.
Yeah?
I feel like because we saw the monster so early and it kind of ruins the suspense.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of, like, the film really could have played with the idea of, like, is it even a monster or are just the scientists gone crazy?
Yeah.
Like, they could have played with that at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you're gonna think this is weird, but let me explain. I feel it's comparable to the first Child's Play.
No, that's actually a really cool idea. Like that would have been work.
In the first Child's Play, with Chucky films, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, like...
Yeah.
In the first Child's Play, it's Danny, right?
Danny.
When bad things are happening, and we don't really see Chucky doing anything for a big portion of the film, and like it's kind of made it out to look like Danny is doing bad things and just blaming it on Chucky.
But
the very opening shot of the film is serial killer Charles Lee Ray breaking into a toy store and performing a fucking, like, voodoo ritual to put his soul in a doll.
The suspense
like, yeah,
is over.
absolutely. Like, boom. It's just like, well, no. We know for a fact that Chucky's alive and doing stuff because of that scene at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's like, why even have, like, these questioning scenes? They're kind of just wasting time when we, as the audience, already know that the monster's a thing.
Especially when we get scenes of the monster itself.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, it just seems, like, kind of, like, odd that they would go about doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, it feels like, I mean, I guess it's realistic in a way that, like, nobody's just gonna believe, oh, you fucking saw dinosaurs?
I know.
Are you fucking crazy?
I know, but it kind of feels like a waste of time.
Yeah, it feels like it could have been devoted to something a little more, like, poignant.
Yeah. So that's basically a good portion of the second half. It's just like, is the monster real? I don't know. Let's travel around the world and see if we can find it.
And see this random dude with head trauma being, like, taken care of by nuns.
Yeah, because apparently he was on the boat that the Radosaur attacked.
Mm-hmm.
But then they decided to investigate further by checking the waters where it was, and we get one of the legitimately the worst looking scene in the entire film. There's a scene where they're investigating the water and there's stock footage.
They're in like a little tiny mini sub,
like a diving bell.
Yeah.
Which became a dinner bell, but
that was a good one.
But so
I was ready for that.
Yeah, so they're looking out the water and we get stock footage of
a shark fighting an octopus.
Which was it's clearly in a tank, like an aquarium.
Yeah. And it's also, you can really see there were different quality cameras.
Yeah.
Like the shark fighting the octopus, the footage is really grainy.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't match the rest of the film at all.
And then the Radosaur appears, and there's a scene.
It looks okay. Okay, we've been sucking Ray Harryhausen's dick a lot in this, like, well-deservedly so, because this film is masterful in its editing and its special effects. But fucking this one shot, though, what the hell? Someone had too much to drink on this scene.
So what happened was, we see the Radosaur's jaw was about to eat the octopus in the whale, and it looked like clip art being dragged over the film.
No, it looked like the film was being played on a projector, being recorded by another camera, and someone took, like, a hand puppet of the beast and put it in front of the camera.
Yeah.
It looked terrible.
It reminded me of the scene from Jaws 3D with the shark being dragged towards the screen, and it's like, stiff, no tail wag.
Just dumb.
It was, like, stiff. It looked so awful.
It looked like a hand puppet.
It really did.
It was just like, whoop, here we go.
So we had, like, another scientist character. He was, like, a paleontologist investigating, and he gets eaten.
Yeah.
So, and basically confirms the existence of the monster, which decides to...
And, if you want to get an idea of what he was like, if you've ever seen It's a Wonderful Life, he really had, Clarence vibes to him.
He really did. He really did. I doubt it's the same actor, because the films are, like, 20 years apart.
No, it's not the same guy, but, like, very reminiscent.
Definitely. So eventually, Radosaur decides to wash up in New York because it's a giant monster movie. You got to do something.
Yeah.
And the last half is not really last half, but the last third.
Yeah.
Is just
we're getting to the third act.
It's basically one awesome rampage scene.
Oh yeah, it's like there's a lot of great moments that just really show. Like, I almost say like it's a lot like the original King Kong, where there's a lot of great effects that it's some, like, I mean, me being a stupid fucker born in 1994, way ahead of this film, I am watching, like, and I know about, like, all these, like, effects now, and, like, I know about, like, some editing tricks that I've learned from living with fucking Anthony of Something Ghoulish, but, like, I've seen some stuff, but, like, I'm seeing these effects from a 1953 film, and it leaves me scratching my head, just like, how the hell did they do that?
Especially if the fact that, again, this is Ray Harryhausen's first solo film.
Genuinely, and, like, holy crap. Like, one of the scenes that particularly blew my mind, there's a scene where the Radosaur steps on a car.
Yeah.
And it looked so real.
Especially the crunching and the footprint.
And, like, how it just caved in so, like, realistically. Like, it looked nice. It looked so smooth and fantastic.
Another scene that was really fantastic, in terms of good compositing, is the police being eaten. Because there's a scene where it is a police officer with balls of titanium.
This fucking guy, this guy's balls could not be cut by Wolverine. This dude had balls made of the strongest of Uru, if you're a huge Marvel fan.
Yeah.
This guy had 2 Mjolnirs for testicles. He comes up with this shitty, dinky little hooker pistol and starts shooting at the giant lizard.
Yeah, and it was like, I know there's like...
this gun is smaller than my hand. This gun, I could fit that gun in my mouth. It's that small.
But,
and he thinks he's got this giant monster's number.
So, sadly, ballsy policeman gets eaten. And it's like...
Surprised the fucking Radosaur didn't choke on those gigantic metal balls.
So they call the military, and one plot point that came right out of nowhere is the fact that the monster's blood is toxic.
Yeah, like...
Not even radioactive, it's just, like, disease.
It very much did just kind of come out of nowhere, because, like... when did the monster get injured? Was it from the RPG shot?
I think it was the RPG shots.
There's a moment where the military shoots like a rocket, like a bazooka round into the monster's neck, and it starts bleeding. And like they say like its blood is like toxic. Like being around its open wound is like breathing that scent is like fatal. So for the rest of the film during the chase to kill the monster, they're wearing, like, fucking hazmat suits. And
what's funny, in being the film, they go to the bomb site, and they weren't wearing hazmat suits.
Yeah. Didn't you say while we were watching you wanted to talk about that, like a thing about Fallout? I'm trying to remember.
I could be wrong, but the idea of Fallout wasn't
like
really
understanding what Fallout is and how it works.
Because most people during the time they thought nukes. The problem was, it's
just a big fuck off bomb
with radiation from the initial blast. But we'll talk about it more when we talk about Godzilla 1954. But for those
when we
who
get into like Gojira.
But for those who are familiar with their kaiju history, the Lucky Dragon incident is the idea where Fallout became, oh shit.
Like, radiation poisoning and burns.
Which is funny, though. So going back to the film.
Radiation poisoning is funny.
That was their solution. Remember they had like a radioactive isotope.
Oh, yeah.
So they trapped the monster in, like, I'm guessing it was, like, Coney Island or something. It was, like, some theme park, which was,
they get it to want... They, like, trying to, like... They kind of, like, lure it into... inside of a roller coaster, and then they, like, set the framework of the roller coaster on fire.
Speaking of the lore, before we go back, I think Roland Emmerich was inspired by this movie for one plot point.
What?
The monster fucking disappearing, and where the fuck did it go?
Oh, Roland Emmerich, you're talking about fucking Godzilla 98.
Seriously.
Like, genuinely, Roland Emmerich is just one of those, honestly, like, I wouldn't even, like, I feel like people maybe in the audience are expecting me to say, oh, Godzilla 98 is so bad, I black it out from my memory. No, it's genuinely, that film is so fucking uninteresting.
Yeah.
I get that it's shitty and Godzilla fans hate it, but honestly, I think it's just so fucking boring.
It really is. It's really boring.
Like, Godzilla, like, we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
We will, and we'll go into greater detail. I won't drag on it too long. I just think it's boring.
It really is. And,
but Roland Emmerich, I will say, like, how the fuck do you lose a monster the size of bigger than a car? It can't just fucking vanish like that.
Like, at least they explained in 98 that Zilla could dig.
Okay, bullshit.
I know it's bullshit. They explained it, but it was a really bullshit explanation.
That's like saying, Chris, you are looking at me.
I am.
Right now. We are, the microphone is between us.
Yeah.
And you and I are looking at each other.
Yes.
That excuse would be like, oh, I left the room, but what you saw is me just blinking out of fucking reality.
No, I get it. It's a dumb reason.
That doesn't fucking work. If I just vanished from thin air, you wouldn't assume, oh, he left. You'd be
definitely.
like, holy shit, my friend just dematerialized.
Yeah, but the thing with the Radosaur disappearing, that a lot of people usually say that Godzilla 98 should be a remake of
Beast from 20,000
Beast,
Fathoms.
and I could definitely see it. Just like mainly
because Godzilla 98 doesn't fucking act or seem anything like Godzilla.
Honestly, the way Zilla is designed it definitely reminds me of the Radosaur. Iguana-esque.
I'd say like Iguana meets T-Rex.
Yeah.
Because like the thing with the Radosaur feels like this is gonna sound weird. Like the Radosaur actually seems like it could be a real creature. Like, I know, like, square cube law and shit like that, whatever.
It wasn't even that big.
It wasn't that huge, but still, honestly, I could see a creature like that in, like, what, like, the Mesozoic era?
Mesozoic. Like, it's as big as an average sauropod.
Like, it looks like it wouldn't be, like, that much more massive than, like, what, like a Stegosaurus?
Or a brontosaur.
Like a brontosaurus or maybe like a spinosaur.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it was that huge. Like maybe from tip of the nose to the end of the tail, maybe like what, like 30 feet long?
Probably.
It didn't look gigantic. It looked only a little bit bigger than like a inner city bus.
Yeah.
Like it's a big fucking animal.
Oh, definitely.
Like this thing could eat an elephant.
Yeah. But,
not swallow it whole.
Which is funny. One thing that Ray Harryhausen likes to do, he likes to have his monsters fight elephants. Which we'll cover in one of his other films. But the thing is that I noticed the nuke woke it up.
I'm sorry, I was just going to finish my thing on like Godzilla 98.
No problem.
How you were comparing it as a remake. Like,
yeah.
The thing with like how Zilla looks in Godzilla 98, like I can believe Godzilla.
Yeah.
I mean, his anatomy, whatever. But like the thing with Zilla, it doesn't like maybe chalk it up to choppy CGI or maybe chop it up to something else. But the thing with Zilla 98, I don't buy it. It doesn't look like this creature could actually exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't look all that real.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like I can, like, maybe that's, like, the CGI's fault, because it kind of looks a little weird.
Yeah.
But, like, and he kind of, like, stands out. But, like, but then when you watch, like, a suit actor Godzilla film, it's more believable because there actually is something in front of the camera.
Definitely.
Like, it feels more real because, like, you can see it, and it's hitting things, interacting with stuff, and it moves organically. And
with the Radosaur, it's an actual prop. Like, stop motion. There is a physical item being moved.
Yeah, so it has more presence.
You know, it has texture. It has, like, you know...
Oh, absolutely. It's scale texture. It looks super believable.
Yeah.
It moves like a lizard. It's believable. Like, it feels like they kind of just made a mini set and let their pet iguana go on a rampage.
Yeah, and, so with the finale, one thing I find funny is they use radiation for a creature awakened by radiation.
A little bit. I mean, fight fire with fire.
And the thing is that this film is basically the start of the giant monster atomic age.
Yeah.
Like I actually looked up the atomic age of cinema before we recorded, and in terms of just giant monster films, this was the first.
Because it was this, and then Gojira came out in 1954, the year after.
Yeah, the year after was 54, Gojira, and them. And Tomonuki Tanaka was heavily inspired by this film and the original King Kong when he decided to make Godzilla. For those who don't know, Tomonuki Tanaka was the producer of Godzilla. And he like directly was quoted by saying that Beast from 20,000 Fathoms was an inspiration.
Yes. Yeah, I remember you telling me that like the night we watched this movie.
Yeah, and it's really interesting just seeing the start of the atomic age of cinema in terms of the giant monsters. Because we had other films beforehand, like, you know, we had aliens and robots and stuff like that. But in terms of just monster movies, it's really, like, I highly recommend this film for those who just are interested in just American cinema and, you know, the fears of the radiation and atomic bombs, because it's definitely a fascinating era.
Absolutely. If there's anything that I really want to say about Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, I feel like it's very much a extremely good entry point into classic, like, American monster movies.
You should definitely start with King Kong.
Yeah, of course. Like, that kind of, I feel like that kind of shit kind of goes without saying.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is also an extremely good, like, early start.
Yeah.
Before you kind of start getting into, like, the more weirder stuff, like, Eight-Legged Freaks, or,
or classic stuff like 20 Million Miles to Earth.
Or The Blob.
Also, 20 is, like, a really popular number during the 50s.
Yeah.
Because we had Beast of 20,000 Fathoms, you got the Twilight Zone episode, Terror at 20,000 Feet, and you got 20 Million Miles to Earth. Like, what is it with the 50s and 20s?
The Roaring 20s!
Which led to the Depression.
Oh, the big sad.
The big sad.
The big sad. That's, like, my favorite thing to call the Great Depression.
Yeah. But, going back to this film, I will say the thing that really bugged me was just the sheer pacing of the film. And
I feel like it bothered you a lot more than it bothered me.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's just because after how god-awful the Godzilla anime trilogy was with its human character scenes.
I thought we said we'd let it die.
We should let it die, but I feel like, I mean, our fans are gonna be, like, we're building a community here.
Yeah.
We can be real with them.
Yeah.
And, like, it was our first episode where we covered a film.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of our fans who have followed through us will remember what we're talking about. So I won't drone on too long, but, like, we talked about the humans characters in the Godzilla anime trilogy. And, like, they were fucking dreadful.
Yeah.
Because they weren't likable, and you just hated them.
Yeah.
Because they were stupid, and they made terrible decisions. But, like, in Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, I don't feel like they're stupid.
They're
or,
not.
like, they're hateable. I just feel like they're just not that interesting. There's not a ton, like, Guardian of the Universe, Gamera, had a lot more personality with its human characters. You kind of felt like these are people with emotions. Like fucking Taxi Driver guy and how amazing he was.
Yeah. You can't even say it's, you know, era because, again, King Kong came out, like, seriously, it came out 20 years before Beast, and it had much more memorable characters.
Oh, absolutely.
So, probably just, you know, it just needed a second, you know, writer.
I do feel with you, but I just feel, the thing with it, I just didn't hate it as much as you did when it came. I think hate's a very strong word.
I just, like, it was a little dull for me.
Yeah, hate was a very poor choice of words there. I feel like the thing is, you were much more impatient with the human scenes.
Yeah, I was more impatient.
I was more willing to sit through it because I feel like, I don't know, it's like film has evolved over time, and I feel like this is a very interesting stepping stone in American monster movies.
Yeah.
And Kong was, what you said, 20 years earlier?
Yeah.
But I feel like it was a different era, different people going to the films.
Yeah.
Appealing to different audiences.
Especially the 50s, which was heavily aimed for teenagers.
Yeah, so I don't think it was that. I mean, yes, I will give it a fork in the side for not that great pacing, where, again, it felt like it started off with a big kick, and then it had like a bit of a drag.
Yeah.
And then it went right the fuck back up at the third act. But I feel like it wasn't that long. I felt like it like explained the monster, established a little mystery, talking with some people, and I didn't think it was that bad. But yeah, do we want to like? I mean, this is a pretty quick episode. Do you want to like fill for time before we give our rating?
No, I think we're good. I mean, we can describe how the film ends.
Yeah, okay, yeah, let's actually go over the ending.
So we have our scientist heroes. They actually used the roller coaster to aim their... they basically had like a gun full of radioactive isotope, and they shot the monster. And like a really cool scene where like it's all fire, and theme parks need to be a new setting for monster movies, because it's super cool.
I think theme parks are just great places for action scenes.
Yeah.
Because there's like so much shit going on, and it's like... Fucking, like, Zombieland is still one of my all-time favorite zombie movies.
Yeah. Just
because the climax of the film is in a huge theme park.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of color, there's a lot of personality. I think it's a blast. And I think a lot of films can have great scenes in amusement parks. Can you imagine, like, a scene, something like Mad Max in, like, an old dilapidated amusement park?
Oh, that would be super fucking rad.
It'd be insane. Absolutely. I just think more movies need to have amusement park scenes.
And they shoot the monster, and the film just ends. The monster dies, and just the end.
Yeah. It is a very sudden ending. Yeah. It absolutely is just kind of just like, monster dead.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
It got the job done.
Yeah. What else is there to say? I mean, we did it. All right. Pack it in, boys. We're good.
All right. So let's give our ratings for the film before we wrap up this episode. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give it 3.5 Eaton police officers out of 5. It's a solid film. I do love this film. It's just the pacing could rub people the wrong way. If that's the case, you can, like, riff with it with friends, or, look at the phone if there's, like, dragging. But I still highly recommend this film. It's still easily one of my favorite Ray Harryhausen films. It's not my favorite of all time, but it's definitely my favorite.
Because I'm a little more forgiving for the slower pacing, I'm going to not, like, overshadow... I'm not going to overshadow and give it too much praise, but I genuinely feel this is a absolutely masterfully crafted kaiju film. Especially from an American perspective, and it's just it's very much, it is what it is. It's unique, it's fantastic, and I'm gonna give it 4 men with wrecking balls for testicles out of 5.
All right, so this is Chris,
this is Cole,
and this is GargantuaCast signing out. Hey, thank you for listening to this new episode of GargantuaCast. Please subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever you're listening to your podcast. We're updated bi-weekly on Mondays. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Follow GargantuaCast on Twitter for news and updates, discussions on the latest episodes, or just chat with us, because I like to chat. And we all know kaiju fans like to talk. Please visit the GargantuaCast Patreon page. GargantuaCast is an independent project, and as such, all equipment and research materials come out of pocket. Any support you give is appreciated and get rewarded along the way, such as merch, voting on the next episode topic, and be part of the monthly raffle for kaiju goodies. And see you guys on the next episode.